Good morning, third grade. I'm going to be reading to you today's crunch. It's about Brave Bessie Coleman. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. It says directions. Read the passage below, and then answer the questions. Brave Bessie Coleman. Bessie Coleman had a dream. She wanted to be an airplane pilot, but two big things stood in her way. She was a woman, and she was African American. Coleman was born in 1892 in Texas. She was one of 13 children. Coleman's father left when Coleman was a child. The family was very poor. Her mother and brothers worked. Coleman stayed home and cared for her two younger sisters. The children helped earn money by picking cotton. They also helped their mother wash clothes for people. Coleman went to school in a one-room schoolhouse. She loved to read to her brothers and sisters. After she finished high school, she worked and saved money to go to college. She went to a college in Oklahoma, but she had to leave after a year. She did not have enough money to pay for classes. In 1915, Coleman moved to Chicago. She lived with her brothers and went to beauty school. Soon she got a job and moved into her own apartment. While in Chicago, Coleman fell in love with airplanes. She listened to stories about World War I pilots. She read every book she could find about airplanes and flying. She wanted to take flying lessons. She searched for flight schools, but the schools would not teach her because she was African American and a woman. Coleman refused to give up her dream. She learned that she could get a pilot's license in France. There, people did not care about her race or that she was a woman. Coleman learned French, saved her money, and moved to Paris. In 1921, she became the first American woman and the first African American in the world to get a pilot's license. Coleman returned to America. She spoke to people all over the country about flying and encouraged them to learn to fly. She also bought her own plane and flew in air shows where she amazed crowds by doing tricks like loops and rolls. Coleman did not let the color of her skin or the fact that she was a woman stand in her way. She worked hard to reach her goals. Today, her life continues to encourage everyone who dares to dream. You can go back and listen to the story again if you need to at any point. Directions. Read the passage above to answer the question. Select the best answer. Which event happened first in Coleman's life? Listen to all your options first. Which event happened first in Coleman's life? A. She lived in Paris. B. She moved to Chicago. C. She lived in Texas. Or D. She moved to France. Again, which event happened first in Coleman's life? Number 2. Read this paragraph from the passage. While in Chicago, Coleman fell in love with airplanes. She listened to stories about World War I pilots. She read every book she could find about airplanes and flying. She wanted to take flying lessons. She searched for flight schools, but the schools would not teach her because she was African American and a woman. Which sentence best states the main idea of this paragraph? Again, listen to all your choices. A. Coleman loved planes and wanted to become a pilot. B. Coleman liked pilots and wanted to study them. C. Coleman searched for flight schools and stories. D. Bessie Coleman read many books and listened to stories. Which sentence best states the main idea? Number 3. Read the sentence from the passage. In 1921, she became the first American woman and the first African American in the world to get a pilot's license. Which word means almost the same as get? A. Win. B. Find. C. Earn. Or D. Discover, which means almost the same as get. Number 4. This question has 2 parts. First, answer part A, then answer part B. Part A. Part A. What is the main idea of the passage? A. Coleman helped raise her sisters and brother. B. Coleman reached her dream of living in France. C. Coleman worked hard to get a college education. Or D. Coleman did not let anything stop her dreams. Which best supports the main idea? Part B. Which detail from the passage best supports your answer to part A? So whatever you chose in part A, which of these choices helps prove that your answer in part A is the correct answer? Is it A, Coleman left college in Oklahoma after 1 year? B, Coleman went to a one-room schoolhouse? C, Coleman cared for her 2 younger sisters? Or D, Coleman learned French and moved to Paris? Number 5. Bessie Coleman never gave up on her dream to become a pilot. Summarize the passage above. Be sure to use words like first, next, then, last. So what this one is asking you is to take this story that we read, Brave Bessie Coleman, and to write a summary. So you're going to tell me what happened using your own words and try to put the events of her life in the right order. So be sure to use words like first this happened, next that happened, then so and so else happened, and last or finally this is what happened. Okay, and it's not a huge box, okay? So it doesn't need to be very, very long. Okay? Number 6. Describe Bessie Coleman using the passage to support your opinion. Explain your opinion in a multi-paragraph essay. Include at least 3 details from the text to support your reasoning. As you write your response, be sure to review sources, create clear, organized paragraphs, draw information from both sources, use evidence from sources to support your points, pay attention to grammar, structure, and mechanics of your sentences. Be sure to include an introduction, information from the sources to support your explanation, a conclusion. Write your multi-paragraph response in the space provided. So for this one, I'm not going to be super worried about a multi-paragraph response. That's quite a bit to work up to. So what I would like to do is just focus on giving me 4 maybe or 5 really good sentences that describe Bessie. And I want you to use some things that were stated in the story. So if you're going to tell me that, oh, you think Bessie was brave Bessie Coleman, if you want to tell me that she was brave, what did she do that was brave? Was it that she learned a new language and moved to a different country? Was it that she worked really hard to save up money to go to college? If you want to tell me that she was motivated or determined because she did the things that she wanted to do when she wanted to become a pilot, she did what she had to do. You have to think of words that would describe Bessie and then use parts of her life from the story that would support why you feel that way. So give me about 4 to 5 good sentences and we'll go from there. And if you need to tell somebody else your sentences, that's okay for now, right? And then they can write it or type it in for you, okay? Thank you, 3rd grade.